Hey there, this is Minister Gary Tate with Veterans Outreach Ministries. I just wanted to say hi, greet, and welcome you. Just so you know, I am a licensed minister with God Carriers International, and I want to present a couple of my books, two of my books right now. One called Live Now, Continue the Fight. This is specifically for veterans, their families, friends, so they can understand. Let me read you what the book says. This book clearly details information about the report from the Veterans Administration that indicates 22 soldiers every day take their lives. To them, their fight came to an end. This is tragic since they return home only to find their new life here harder to adapt with, along with the thoughts and range of emotions they had to try to come to grips with that have plagued them and do plague them constantly. Many have been recognized as having PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, or TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, with symptoms of having anxiety, adjustment disorders, and problems with alcohol and other drugs. The reason I wrote this, 30 years ago, I wrote a book specifically on post-traumatic stress disorder, which I called Angel Death, Angel Life, A Changed Life After Vietnam, that dealt solely with PTSD. And I want to see what about a year ago, I got information from the VA and other sources about traumatic brain injury. So I decided to write a new book, which I just mentioned, Live Now, Continue the Fight. And I start out with PTSD. And just so you know, what you should know, I actually included my journey. I am diagnosed with symptoms and signs of post-traumatic stress disorder. Just saying it. And then in chapter 4, I have information on traumatic brain injury, understanding it, what it is, symptoms, signs. Chapter 5 is more in depth on problems, symptoms, and treatment. And then, let me see. And then chapter 6, how I am managing what I call my injuries. And then chapter 7 I put is stress and finding relief. Now I've used like 12 different resources on this subject. And I also included the VA as well. And then chapter 8 have keys and our recovery. Been there. I am in the process of recovery. Say hi, Gail. My daughter, Gail. Anyway, I wanted to present that book, and the second one I called Walking with the Holy Spirit, Study Workbook and Reference. Now, I wrote that this year, and basically, this is for those who are looking for a study with scriptures, workbook, and reference for you to fill out. There's actual fill out your responses on the Holy Spirit that goes beyond what we may have been taught, heard sermons on, and what we perceived Him to be. This is what I wrote in my comments. Now I have made the commitment anew to seek the Holy Spirit daily. After going to the first and then my second meeting in December the 2/13 for people to make Jesus the center of their life. Meeting Pastor Theo Colonials and his wife Evelyn and this ministry team at what they call Jesus Center conferences. I encounter His very presence again, and yet to another dimension that I have experienced before. You ever go to Jesus Image Conference? Jesus, it would be awesome. I can guarantee you. But anyway, basically, that book, you can actually fill out. I start out, who is a Holy Spirit? Because I was raised Catholic. I'm just saying, the Holy Spirit wasn't really in depth taught about. We believe in the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the triune God, but there wasn't that I remember. I wasn't always the most studious boy there was. In school or at church, I probably would have had AD, attention deficit disorder. Back then they didn't do that. And second choice is our choice to seek the Holy Spirit. Basically, again, this book. And then, what does the Holy Spirit do? Chapter 3. And that's always a good question for me. And then I put the starting place, passion for the call. And I put my process, how I began to learn and understand. And then I include chapter 5, challenges of our way. Because Jesus said we would have trials and tribulation. That's what he said. And that's so true. And then I actually included chapters, Psalms, that I use Bible verses, scriptures, because Psalm 23, Psalm 91, and Ephesians 6:10 through 18 I read daily. It's not the only, but that is one of the some of the Bible verses I do read. So anyway, you can find me at on Facebook as Gary Tate. My website is www.creates. Let me give you the right address. That would help. Pardon me when I do this. Be more prepared, right? Veterans http://veterans outreach weebly.com com, and then there'll be a link for my books as well. And you can see I've written several other books. They're available at Amazon Kindle and also as I'm showing you a softcover book. So thank you very much. God bless you. And I'm a part of the VFW, the DAV, American Legion. Of course, I go to Hines VA. I meet a lot of veterans at the local clinic up here in Joliet, where I live nearby. And I also travel to Hines to get more specific medical care, because that's the closest facility for me. But again, thank you very much. My name is Minister Gary Tate with Veterans Outreach Ministries. And God bless you.